Part 225. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2241. Chapter 2241. I, Gongzili, am not that mean-spirited. Probably God thought that Miyazawa's life was too smooth, so he suffered such emotional setbacks. He has always disliked others, found them annoying, and was afraid that others would stalk him. Now, everything is reversed. His self-esteem and pride were severely trampled under his feet by Jiao Mian. In front of her, he was so humble that even he felt pitiful. His humbleness has not resulted in anything. All he saw was her avoidance and dislike in her eyes. Jiao Mian couldn't say a word. Actually, she wanted to say that she didn't hate Gongzili. It's just that she really doesn't want to have anything to do with him anymore. Before she knew what he thought about her, she might still be friends with him. But after knowing that he treats her, they can only be strangers. Because she had to take Moyesi's feelings into consideration. Jiao Mian, I promised you before that I will never pester you again. I will keep my word. However, you have no control over who I want to associate with or what I want to do. Don't you already treat me as a stranger? Since we don't know each other, you don't care what I do. Jiao Mian pursed her lips, not knowing what to say. She was unable to refute Gongzili's words. Yes, if Gongzili is just a stranger to her, what does she care about him? Her face felt a little hot, embarrassed. Because she also felt that she might be being sentimental. She thought that Gongzili would help Father Jiao, it must be because of her. But he just denied it? Isn't this just because she is being sentimental? Gongzili looked at Jiao Mian's slightly red cheeks, and a strange color flashed across his eyes. After being silent for a few seconds, he turned around. Since you don't want to see me so much, I'll leave now. Don't worry, I, Gongzili, am not that bad, so I don't have to be someone else. You saved me and were kind to me. This is a fact, but since you don't care about this kindness and don't want anything in return from me, then we've just written this off. But remember, it's not that I, Gongzili, don't repay the kindness, it's that you don't care. After saying the last words, Gongzili walked away. Jiao Mian stood there, watching his figure slowly walking away, and suddenly felt that she had done something wrong and felt a little guilty. She seemed to have hurt Gongzili. However, this is all she can do. She could not be friends with a man who had that kind of interest in her. This man is also Moyesi's brother. So even if she really hurt Gongzili, she had no other choice. She hoped that after he was injured, he would really give up on her. As he said, with his status, he cannot commit such a humble act. In the future, there will definitely be a girl who is really suitable for him. Asterisk. Jiao Mian returned to the ward. Father Jiao watched her come in alone, waited for a while, and asked, "Where is young Master Gong?" "He's gone." Jiao Mian walked to the bedside and picked up the water glass on the bedside table. "Dad, are you thirsty? I'll pour you some water." Father Jiao nodded. Jiao Mian turned around to get a glass of water. "Dad, it's a bit hot. Drink it slowly." Father Jiao raised his head and looked at her, took the water glass from her hand, and took a slow sip. After drinking water for a while, Father Jiao put the cup on the cabinet. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2242. Chapter 2242. When did this happen? Dad, how do you feel today? Jiao Mian saw that his complexion was much better than before, and his face looked less pale. Well, much better. Father Jiao squinted his eyes and took a serious look at the adopted daughter sitting by the bed. He has raised Jiao Mian for almost 20 years, so he naturally knows how beautiful his daughter is. Since childhood, Chiao Mian has been very good looking. She was as beautiful as a princess even when she was a child. But everyone who has seen her praises her. Many people say that he, Chiao Ruhe, is very lucky to have such a beautiful daughter. When his daughter grows up, she will definitely marry into a rich family, and he, as a father, will naturally enjoy the blessings as well. Chiao Ruhe also firmly believes in this. Because Chiao Mian is indeed so beautiful. When he was only 12 or 13 years old, he was already extremely handsome. This is also the reason why the Su family made an engagement with the Chiao family early. In addition to Suzy being very satisfied with Chiao Mian, the Su family's parents also like Chiao Mian very much. When Chiao Mian and Mo Yesi were together at first, Chiao's father didn't know Mo Yesi's family background. When I found out about it later, I was surprised for a while and felt that it was normal. Because he knew very well that Chiao Mian's own family background was very unusual. She was originally from a wealthy family. Plus she has such a face. What man can resist? Even Mo Yesi fell in love with her and married her back home. So it would not be unusual if Gong Zili also had a crush on her. Dad, what's wrong? Why do you keep staring at me? Chiao Mian looked at her father's eyes and couldn't help but ask. Father Chiao had an expression on his face that he was hesitant to speak. Dad, if you have anything to do, just tell me directly. Chiao Mian could tell that her father wanted to tell her something. Mian, how is your relationship with Master Gong? How is your relationship? Father Chiao hesitated for a while and finally asked. Chiao Mian was stunned. Father Chiao looked at her expression and said, there is something I don't know whether I should tell you. Dad, what do you want to tell me? A long time ago, young Master Gong came to see me. Father Chiao decided to tell him about Gong Zili's visit. He asked me about some things that happened 10 years ago. What happened 10 years ago? Well, he asked me if I had taken you to the Gong family's banquet. After I told him that I had taken you there, he asked me some more questions. Mian, do you know why Master Gong wanted to talk to me about these things? Did you and him know each other 10 years ago? Father Chiao thought it was unlikely. No matter what time it was, the Chiao family could never get close to the Gong family. Gong Zili is still the crown prince of the Gong family, so it's not easy to get to know him. But since I don't know him, why would I ask him those questions? He asked you about what happened 10 years ago. Chiao Mian was stunned and asked, when did this happen? Father Chiao told her the time, and then said, after that time, he helped the Chiao family a lot. Mian, do you know why Master Gong helped the Chiao family? Chiao Mian was silent for a while and nodded. Originally, she thought it was her own fault. But now it seems that Gong Zili did help the Chiao family because of her. He didn't admit it before, he just didn't want to admit it. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2243. Chapter 2243. This has something to do with your subsequent car accident. Then why? Father Chiao asked immediately, did anything happen between you and young Master Gong? It's not easy for Father Chiao to ask too directly. Because Chiao Mian is married after all. Some questions are difficult to ask. Dad, actually I don't remember that incident either. Chiao Mian didn't intend to hide it from Father Chiao, he said that I saved his life. It was that night 10 years ago when you took me to his birthday party. One night, he accidentally fell into the swimming pool and I rescued him. Then he always felt that I was his savior and he wanted to repay me. Father Chiao was dumbfounded and looked extremely surprised. Have you ever saved Master Gong? I don't remember either. Jiao Mian pursed her lips. I don't remember anything about that night. So I don't know if what he said is true. So that's it. Father Jiao finally nodded clearly. No wonder he kept asking me about that night. I kept guessing, but I couldn't guess what he wanted to ask. You don't remember that night. It's normal, and it has something to do with your subsequent car accident. You don't remember many things around that year. The doctor said that you probably lost part of your memory from that year. Since he said he saved you, this thing should be true. There is no way he would use this. It won't do him any good to lie to you. No wonder he helped the Chiao family like that. It turns out that he wanted to repay your kindness. No wonder Jiao Mian was not very polite when talking to Gong Zili just now, but Gong Zili didn't look angry at all. Well, that should be it. Jiao Mian looked at Father Jiao, thought for a moment, and then said, Dad, your company had problems before, but you never told me. If something happens to you again in the future, you must tell me, okay? We are a family, and I am capable now. I can help you solve those things. Mr. Gong, although he is very good, he is an outsider after all. If we can solve our own affairs, we should not do it ourselves. Go trouble an outsider. After all, it's not a good idea to owe someone else a favor. Father Chiao also thought of something. After a moment of silence, he nodded, okay, I understand. The company had some problems during that time and needed a lot of capital investment. I didn't tell you because I didn't want to give it to you. You added to the burden. Fortunately, everything is fine now and the company is running normally. Well, in short, if you have anything to do in the future, you must tell me. Jiao Mian reached out and took one of Father Jiao's hands, looked into his eyes, and said seriously, Dad, I will always be your daughter, and you can always rely on me. No matter what my relationship is with the Bai family, we will always be father and daughter, and this relationship will not change. Father Jiao lost two relatives at once, and he must feel particularly lonely now. So Jiao Mian wanted to express her position in front of him. She wants Father Jiao to feel safe. Rather than feeling that there is no family around him, he becomes a loner. Jiao Mian knows all too well how painful this feeling is. She was particularly sad when her mother Jiao and her grandmother passed away. At any rate, Jiao Chen was with her at that time. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2244. Chapter 2244. What she wants to play is actually a corpse. Otherwise, she will feel particularly lonely. Father Jiao was stunned for a moment, then slowly raised his head, and Jiao Mian saw that his eyes were turning red. Tears were rolling in his eyes. Perhaps he felt that a grown man could not shed tears, so he tried his best to hold it back. He held Jiao Mian's hand hard, nodded heavily with red eyes, and said, his voice choked with sobs, okay, we are father and daughter forever. At this moment, looking at Jiao Mian sitting by the bed with a sincere face, Father Jiao felt guilty. In fact, he is not a very qualified father. His attitude towards his two daughters is still more biased towards his biological daughter. Before his mother Jiao passed away, he still valued Jiao Mian. Later, Jiao's mother passed away and he married Lin Huijin. After having a daughter named Jiao Angzhen, he began to slowly ignore his eldest daughter. Even if he didn't mean it. But he did ignore Jiao Mian. Later, he did a lot of wrong things because of Jiao Angzhen and his daughter. One after another, in retrospect, he felt that he was going too far. But now, this daughter, who had no blood relationship with him, said these words to him. He was in the hospital during this time, and she was the only one who visited him frequently. He is now able to live in such a good ward, enjoy the best treatment in the hospital, and have so many professionals taking care of him. Everything is a blessing to his daughter. But Lin Huijin and her daughter have long since disappeared. Not even a single phone call. His wife and daughter, whom he thought he could rely on, now seem to be a joke. Asterisk. At this time, Lin Huijin and Qiao Angzhen were no longer in Yunqing. Qiao Angzhen followed Suzi's arrangement and went abroad to develop. But everything was not as smooth as she thought. After going abroad, she did not have any reputation in another country, and her appearance was not very good. She re-entered the local entertainment circle as a newcomer and had no company to support her. For the first time, she felt what is the so-called newcomer treatment. Qiao Angzhen tried again and again all the setbacks that Qiao Mian had encountered. For the first time, she knew what it felt like to be a walk-on. "Hey, what are you doing as a newcomer? Come here, it's your turn soon." The crew. Qiao Angzhen accepted a walk-on role. She had just changed clothes when a staff member came over and called her, "You will lie down in that position in a moment. Lie face down and don't show your face. You don't need to do anything, just lie there, you know." Qiao Angzhen took on the role of a corpse. She will play the role of the sister who the heroine has been looking for many years, but when the heroine finds her, she has already been killed. Her death will stimulate the darkening of the heroine in the play and become a key turning point in the whole play. Speaking of which, her role is very important. Suzy told her the same thing when he asked her to play this role, saying that it was a very important role. But when Qiao Angzhen arrived at the scene, she realized that what she was going to play was actually a corpse. Because she is a soy sauce character, it is impossible to give her a script in advance. Qiao Angzhen was so angry that she couldn't agree to it. Since her debut, with Suzy's help, she got the role of the second female lead in her first film. Later on, when I got together with Suzy, I became even more reluctant to play the leading female role. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2245. Chapter 2245. A newcomer with no reputation at all. Now, she is asked to play the role of corpse. This is a great shame and humiliation for Qiao Angzhen. She naturally refused immediately. But when she was about to leave the crew, Suzy told her that if she left, she would never get another job in the future. And she also signed a management contract with Suzy. She is not free until her agency contract expires. Unless she is willing to pay liquidated damages. But now Qiao Angzhen, where does the money come from? She simply couldn't afford the money to compensate for the liquidated damages. So she could only be obedient. She swallowed her nerve and went to change her costume. Because she was only playing the role of a corpse, and it was a faceless one, she didn't even have to put on makeup. The on-site staff's attitude towards her was naturally not very polite. After the staff finished speaking, he saw that she had no reaction. He frowned and reprimanded impatiently, "I'm talking to you, did you hear me? What are you still dawdling about? Why don't you hurry over? Why do you still want me for being a walk-on? I don't care what you did before. Now that you are here, you must abide by the rules here, you know." The staff probably heard that Qiao Angzhen had done well before. But it has nothing to do with him. Even if Qiao Angzhen was awesome before, now that she is playing a small role here, it means that she must be in a bad life. Qiao Angzhen's face changed after being yelled at by the staff. She was about to lose her temper, but suddenly remembered that she was no longer in Yunqing. She is not the same Qiao Angzhen she used to be who could let others look at her face. She is just a newcomer with no reputation at all. Qiao Angzhen endured all the anger and grievances, gritted her teeth, and said after a few seconds, "I know, I'll be there right away." "Hurry up, don't waste time. Can you afford to waste everyone's time?" After finishing speaking, the staff turned around and left. Qiao Angzhen's face changed again when she was urged. She was holding back her anger and was about to walk towards the shooting location, when she suddenly felt very unconvinced. Why, she has to play a corpse that can't even show its face. If she doesn't show her face, then what's the point of filming her? Thinking of this, Xiao Angzhen's eyes flashed, and a thought flashed through her mind. Asterisk. Okay, everyone, please pay attention and get to your places. The filming will start soon. The director greeted each actor, and after confirming that they were ready for filming, he first focused the camera on the female lead. The female lead is a popular little girl in their circle. Her name is Anna, and she is very popular in the local area. Although she has a bad temper, her acting skills are decent, and she is very popular, so there are many people looking for her to film movies. The director was also quite polite to her. Anna, are you ready? The director asked the heroine. After seeing the heroine nod, the director shouted 3, 2, 1 for the countdown, and then started the official shooting. The content of the shooting that day was that the heroine found her long-lost sister through various clues. However, when she walked outside her sister's room, she found that the security door was open. She was stunned at the door for a while, then reached out and gently pushed the door open. As soon as the door was opened, a strong smell of blood wafted out. The heroine immediately realized something was wrong, her face suddenly turned pale, and she hurriedly ran into the room. She opened the door and ran in, and immediately saw her sister lying in a pool of blood in the living room. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2246. Chapter 2246. I just hit you, what's wrong? At this time, the camera turned to the corpse played by Xiao Angzhen. Originally, Xiao Angzhen was supposed to be face down, and the camera couldn't capture her face at all. But when the camera looked over, they saw that she was not lying face down, but lying on her side, with her face just covered by her hair. And his face was not completely covered. When the camera was pointed at her, her hair suddenly moved, as if being blown by the wind, and slowly slid down her face. Her face, which was originally covered, was completely exposed. And the makeup artist didn't put makeup on her at all. But when Xiao Angzhen's face was revealed, it was wearing makeup. Although her makeup is not heavy, it can be seen that she is wearing makeup. This unexpected development stunned the director. The heroine Anna's face also changed suddenly. The director frowned and paused filming. What's the matter with you, the one who plays the corpse? Didn't anyone tell her how she should lie there? A staff member immediately stood up and clarified for himself, Director, I told her a long time ago. I didn't expect her to be like this. The director looked at Xiao Angzhen and became even more dissatisfied. Since someone told you in advance, why do you still show your face? Also, if you are pretending to be a faceless corpse, what kind of makeup are you wearing? Do you know if you know how to act? If you don't know, just change it. For the director, it doesn't matter who plays the corpse. Of course he also knew why Xiao Angzhen did this. He has seen too many newcomers like Xiao Angzhen who are cautious. Director Xiao Angzhen got up from the ground, reached out and pushed the hair scattered on her cheeks behind her ears, revealing her entire face. She smiled at the director, looked at him with a seductive look, and then said, I think this would be better. As soon as the heroine ran into the house, a gust of wind blew by, covering her sister. When the hair on the face is blown off and the heroine sees the face of her dead sister, the effect will be better than before. In this case, the excitement for the heroine will be greater. The director has never seen Xiao Angzhen seriously before. At this moment, I suddenly realized that Xiao Angzhen was quite good looking. Looking at her charming eyes, I couldn't help but feel a little distracted. Originally, he was going to get angry at Jiao Angzhen, but what he said became, what you said seems to make sense. So director, I didn't change your arrangement without authorization. Do you think this is better? Jiao Angzhen said in a coquettish voice. The director listened to her sweet voice and was about to answer when Anna, the heroine behind him, walked past him and walked directly in front of Jiaoan. Before Jiaoan could say anything, Anna raised her hand and slapped her on Jiao Angzhen's face. There was a pop sound, and Jiao Angzhen's face was suddenly swollen. She raised her head and looked at Anna with disbelief. Hit me? I just hit you, what's wrong? Didn't Anna just see Jiao Angzhen ogling the director? This director had an affair with her, but now he was being seduced by a newbie in front of her. How could she turn a blind eye? Furthermore, the director's attitude towards Jiao Angzhen made Anna even more angry. Anna is not particularly beautiful, but Jiao Angzhen looks better than her. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2247. Chapter 2247. She looks so terrible. As a heroine, how can she tolerate a walk-on taking away her charm? She looked sharply and said, "You can lie down wherever I want you to. You are just a walk-on. Who gave you the right to make your own decisions?" Director, I ask for a substitution. After Anna beat Jiao Angzhen, she turned around and said to the director in a strong tone, "I hate this kind of scheming woman. Facing her will affect my performance." When the director saw that Anna was angry, even though he had some thoughts about Jiao Angzhen, he agreed without hesitation, "Okay, I will replace her right away." "Anna, don't be angry, she is just an insignificant person. I'll just have someone drive her away right away." "Then drive her away immediately," Anna said with a dark face. "I won't be in a good mood if I look at her for a second longer." Okay, drive away right away," the director hurriedly reassured. "Don't be angry, don't be angry." The director turned around and ordered the staff around him, "Take her away." "Yes, director." Jiao Angzhen sat on Anna and grabbed her hair hard. Her eyes were red with anger, and with the ferocious expression on her face, the people around her were a little frightened by her. Because Jiao Angzhen is like a madman at this time. She looked so terrible. The staff member walked over, stretched out his hand and pushed Jiao Angzhen hard, and said harshly, "Did you hear that? What are you doing here? Get out of here." Jiao Angzhen was pushed back by him and staggered back 2 steps, almost falling to the ground. She raised her face that was red and swollen from being beaten, and looked at Anna standing aside with an unconvinced look. She had a gnashing expression on her face, as if she wanted to eat Anna alive. Anna was actually frightened by her look. She became even more angry when she saw Jiao Angzhen's unconvinced look. Just a newbie who is just a walk-in. He was slapped by her and yet he dared to look at her like this. Anna stepped forward with a cold face, raised her hand and slapped Jiao Angzhen on the other side of the face. "Why, you're still not convinced? Who can show you that aggrieved look? You're just a walk-on. I'll beat you when I hit you. What else can you do to me?" Anna looked at Jiao Angzhen's cheeks swollen. "When I got up, my whole face was deformed, and I finally felt comfortable. This little actually wants to hook up with the director. They don't even look at what they are. A walk-on, so scheming. If we don't treat her well, what if she crawls into the director's bed?" And Jiao Angzhen was stunned by the slap. When she reacted, she raised her head and looked at Anna, who was standing in front of her with the arrogant look on her face. She finally couldn't bear it anymore and rushed toward Anna with gritted teeth. "If you dare to hit me, I will fight you." Jiao Angzhen has never suffered this kind of grievance. Since her debut, no one has treated her like this. But now, she was slapped twice. At this moment, anger has gone to her head, and she has no reason to speak. She jumped on Anna, reached out and strangled Anna's neck, and pulled Anna's hair with her other hand. She shouted with red eyes, "I let you hit me, I let you hit me. I'm going to fight you. How dare this hit her?" Xiao Angzhen wanted to vent, and could no longer care about the consequences. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2248. Chapter 2248. What qualifications do you have to treat me like this? She suddenly pounced on her, and Anna didn't take any precautions. She was immediately thrown to the ground. Xiao Angzhen sat on Anna and grabbed her hair hard. Her eyes were red with anger, and with the ferocious expression on her face, the people around her were a little frightened by her. Because Xiao Angzhen is like a madman at this time. She looked so terrible. It wasn't until Anna screamed that the people around him woke up, and staff immediately stepped forward to stop Xiao Angzhen. At this time, Xiao Angzhen was so violent that a staff member couldn't stop her, and she even scratched her face. Seeing this, another staff member came forward. Two big men held her shoulders on the left and right, and pulled her up from the ground forcefully. How can Anna be Xiao Angzhen's opponent? Her neck and face were scratched by Xiao Angzhen, and her hair was also scratched in a mess. Anna must have been fooled by Xiao Angzhen. She fell to the ground panting and did not respond for a long time. The assistant was so frightened by her appearance that she turned pale. He immediately rushed over and squatted in front of her to help her up. "Sister Na, are you okay? I'll help you up and we'll go to the hospital for a checkup right away." Anna's cheek was scratched by Xiao Angzhen's nails. A little bit of blood seeped out. The assistant wiped her with a tissue, and while wiping her, her hand was suddenly held by Anna. The assistant was startled. "Sister Na." Anna raised her head and looked at Xiao Angzhen, who had been controlled by the staff. She pushed the assistant away, got up and rushed to Xiaoan. She raised her hand and wanted to hit Xiao Angzhen. "Anna, stop fighting. Your face is hurt. Go to the hospital quickly." The director came over and stopped her. "Don't make it difficult for yourself because of a young newcomer. If this matter spreads, it will be wrong for you. You don't have a good reputation. But this dared to hit me." Anna touched her scratched face, wishing she could scratch Xiao Angzhen. She was actually beaten like this by a walk-on. What face does she have? Don't worry, we will never let her go easily. You should go to the hospital quickly and get the wounds on your face treated. The director is not helping Xiao feel at ease. Anna is the heroine. She got injured on her face and must deal with it. This treatment will delay the progress of filming. The director was afraid that she would have another argument with Xiao Angzhen later. If her face was injured again, how would she be able to film at that time? Anna gritted her teeth and reluctantly put her hand down. "I won't let you go." After saying this to Xiao Angzhen, she walked out of the room with the help of her assistant. Xiao Angzhen still had an unconvinced expression on her face. She struggled hard and wanted to hit Anna. "Let me go, let me go. Let go, what qualifications do you have to treat me like this? Are you crazy, a newbie? You dare to hit Anna?" The director looked at her and said with a dark face, "Do you still want to stay in the entertainment industry in the future? Just dream." Asterisk. Xiao Angzhen came out of the police station. Lin Huijin was waiting for her outside. As soon as she saw her, she hurriedly stepped forward and said, "Angzhen, are you okay? They didn't do anything to you." Lin Huijin herself has no ability to make money. She only had one daughter, Xiao Angzhen. When Xiao Angzhen went abroad, she went abroad with her. End of this chapter. You are listening to Novels at Bless Up channel. Wish you happiness and luck. Please subscribe to receive new novels. How do you feel about this novel? Please like and leave a comment. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2249. Chapter 2249. You idiot. Xiao Angzhen had a cold face and shook her head. I'm fine. It's okay. Lin Huijin breathed a sigh of relief, stretched out her hand and patted her chest. It scared me to death. An Xin, what's going on? Didn't you go filming? Why are you at the police station again? Xiao Angzhen's face turned dark. Mom, please stop asking, I don't want to talk. Lin Huijin looked at her face and knew that she was in a bad mood now, so she didn't dare to ask any more questions. She nodded and said, okay, I won't ask any more. Then let's go home quickly. You can go back and have a good rest. Lin Huijin still has great hopes for Xiao Angzhen. She feels that her daughter is in good condition and will definitely become famous. Xiao Angzhen pursed her lips and said nothing, her face darkened. Lin Huijin hailed a taxi. As soon as she got into the car with Lin Huijin, her cell phone rang. Xiao Angzhen's face became even more gloomy when she saw the caller ID. She waited for a while before picking up the phone. As soon as the connection was connected, the person on the other end cursed loudly, Xiao Angzhen, what did I tell you? Do you know how much trouble you caused me? It cost me just to bail you out of the police station. It's a lot of money, and now Anna is telling you to sue you and make you pay. Are you crazy? You actually went to fight with Anna. Do you know her status in the entertainment industry over there and what background she has? Do you not want to continue in the entertainment industry? If so, you should pay the liquidated damages. I won't care about your life or death from now on. Xiao Angzhen's face turned green after being scolded by Suzy. She still felt that she was particularly wronged and had not yet calmed down. After being scolded by Suzy, she gritted her teeth and retorted unconvincingly, Suzy, what do you know? It wasn't me who wanted to hit her, she hit me first. She slapped me twice, you know. I have never been beaten like that by anyone, but she slapped me in the face in public, scolded me, and told me to get out. I couldn't bear it anymore, so I chose to fight back. I don't know how powerful her background is here. I only know that if she hits me like that, I will definitely return it. You idiot, Suzy was so angry that he cursed loudly again, Xiao Angzhen, you haven't figured out what's going on with you until now. Do you think you are still the same person as before? You figured it out, you are now. It's just a trouble that no one wants. If I hadn't taken pity on you and given you a meal, how could you have found another company willing to sign you? Do you feel aggrieved by letting you play a small role? You are a newbie now. It's good that you can get a job. What kind of treatment do you want? Suzy, You have already caused a lot of trouble before you have made a penny for the company. If Anna really wants to sue you, do you know how much compensation it will cost? Xiao Angzhen, I am not giving you a chance to ask you to pay. I'm in trouble, do you understand? Why should she sue me? She did it first. I can sue her too, Xiao Angzhen said angrily. You sued her? Are you still awake? What are you suing her for? She is rich and powerful there and knows many people. How can you sue her? If she wants to deal with you, it will be easy. You won't be able to stay there. Xiao Angzhen's face couldn't help but change, and it seemed that she only realized the importance of the matter at this time. End of this chapter. I secretly got married to a super boss. Author, Dance Lightly. Chapter 2250. Chapter 2250. Do you really have no self-awareness? Suzy, you can help me, she said hurriedly. Suzy sneered, should I help you? I signed you to make money for the company. You haven't brought any benefits to the company, so why should I spend money to help you? Xiao Angzhen was stunned, and her face became more and more ugly. She squeezed the phone tightly and said with a pale face, I will bring benefits to the company. When I become famous in the future, Are you going to be famous in the future, Suzy sneered again and said in a very disdainful tone, Jiao Angzan, do you really have no self-awareness? Do you think you relied on your own strength to become famous before? If I hadn't ruined the company with so many resources supporting you, can you get up? You praised me, but don't I have any strength at all? Jiao Angzan was naturally unconvinced after hearing such words. Suzy, you are right to praise me. But if you don't praise me, I will be the same. It just takes a lot of time to become famous. Haha, Jiao Angzan, it seems you really have no self-awareness. If your appearance is as good as Mian, even if you have no acting skills at all, I can make you famous very quickly. But you have to have good looks but no acting skills. It's not like you were top-notch. If I didn't praise you back then, let alone the first-tier ones, the second-tier ones would have nothing to do with you. Otherwise, after you leave Xinggui, do you think you are still popular? Those Weibo fans of yours, the comments and reposts every time you post on Weibo, the lists you are on, and the people who pick you up every time you go out of town, I didn't pay you to do anything. Without these behind-the-scenes operations, your actual results will only make people laugh. You should stop dreaming that you can get into the first tier with your conditions. Being able to get into the third tier is already pretty good. Jiao Angzan's face was shocked, not to mention how ugly it was. What made her even more angry and unacceptable was that Suzy actually compared her with Jiao Mian. He praised Jiao Mian as if she were a fairy, but he reduced her to dust. Jiao Angzan, this is the first time I'm warning you, and it's also the last time. I will try my best to help you solve the matter this time, but if there is another time, I will not take care of it anymore. When the time comes, I will also ask terminate the contract with you. Just wait until you sleep on the street later. After Suzy finished speaking, he hung up the phone. Jiao Angzan listened to the disconnection sound coming from the mobile phone. Her face was green, and her whole body was shaking with anger. "NXIN, have you been beaten?" Lin Huijin heard the conversation she had just had with Suzy and asked with a worried look, "What is going on? Who hit you?" Jiao Angzan ignored her. In her mind, I kept thinking about what Suzy said just now. Jiao Mian is very beautiful, she has known it since she was a child. Because as long as she was with Jiao Mian, only people would praise Jiao Mian for her beauty, and no one would praise her. Those who praised her could only say that she was cute. But when they praised Jiao Mian, they said she looked like a little fairy. Although the Jiao family had some money before, it was not very well off. The reason why I was able to get married to the Su family later was because at a banquet, Suzy, who was still a teenager at the time, fell in love with Jiao Mian at first sight. The Su family's parents also fell in love with Jiao Mian. Later, Jiao Mian broke up with Suzy and met Mo Yesi again. Everything is because of Jiao Mian's face that can charm men. So it's really important to have a beautiful face. End of this chapter.